If you're paying $500 a month for a podcast editor, guess what? You don't have to. In this video, I'm going to share the system that can run your entire production workflow with Claude Cowork for just $20 a month. I'll show you how I went from 10 hours a week producing my podcast to just 3.5 hours. I'll give you the full breakdown in 3 simple phases. But real quick, in case we haven't met yet, hi, my name's Arlena. I've been podcasting for over 12 years now. I'm a best-selling author and a coach, and at 57 years old, I'm learning how to use AI in my business. I'm teaching what works along the way. So if that's something that you'd like to do too, be sure to subscribe and we'll do this thing together. So podcasting is a great way to build an audience and get clients. But in the beginning, it's a challenge to stay consistent, and consistency is the #1 factor for growing your audience. Listen, consistency was a big problem for me too. And the deal is, most people don't think that an editor will be able to edit your podcast as well as you do, right? We're a little bit of a control freak. But if you don't get help, you'll likely burn out. In fact, there are millions of podcasts out there, and most of them die after just 7 episodes. So hiring an editor turned out to be a huge game changer for me personally. She kept the show running for years, and it has ranked in the top 1% for the last 7 years. Then, unfortunately, the unexpected happened. She got sick and she actually had to quit. I had a full roster of clients. I had 2 kids at home. I didn't have 10 hours a week to do it myself or really the time to hire somebody else. So I was faced with this choice: either let the podcast die or figure out how to do it without her. What I built, I now call the 3-phase production stack. It's a system built on Claude Cowork, and it actually changed everything for me. And this is how I actually built it. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm not a techie. I don't know how to automate with AI. I didn't either, so I just asked Claude. I wrote out my entire workflow in a Google Doc, every step, my tech stack, all of it. I handed it to Claude Cowork, and that's when the magic happened. Claude had me go through the process, and it took screenshots all along the way. It actually found areas that I could be more efficient. It took out steps I didn't need. It really streamlined my workflow. The cool thing is Claude actually built skills itself. Skills are just like a set of instructions that you can just say, hey, Claude, do this thing, and it has the instructions and it'll actually do the thing. But here's the part nobody tells you. You don't have to build the automation yourself. The trick here is you just have to describe what you already do. And here's where it gets interesting. Once those skills existed, every phase of my podcast became something Claude could run all on its own. I'll do a quick overview of the 3-phase production stack here. We're going to start with phase 1, obviously, which is the pre-interview. I get a lot of guest pitches, so I go through them manually in my email to find the right fit. But after that, I give Claude Cowork the guest email address, and I tell it to book a pre-interview chat. Claude writes the screening email from my template, and it includes a link to my scheduling tool called Calendly. And that's how they can put time on my calendar. The purpose of the pre-interview chat, it's 15 minutes. It's just a quick chat so that we can break that ice. We can cover a little bit of prepping and lock in the topics. After that call, I just ask Claude to send the scheduling email, which includes a request for a headshot. I ask them to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and Calendly handles the Zoom link automatically. Once we've recorded, I log the guest in my podcast scheduling Google Sheet. It has the date, the episode number, the name, the email, and the website, and the headshot URL of the guest. That might sound like a lot, but the whole thing only takes about 15 minutes. Phase 2 is production. This is the meaty part. While most creators oversimplify everything, I'm going to give you the nitty-gritty, step-by-step details. But don't stress, I put the full system in a Notion doc that you can grab for free in the description. So here's the exact flow. I download the specific Zoom recording that I want. I upload it to Descript. That gives me the transcript. Then I give it to Claude Cowork with one simple prompt. Start episode number, whatever it is. From there, Claude takes over completely. It puts the guest info from my podcasting schedule Google Sheet. It generates 5 compelling title options for me to choose from. It writes the blog post summary with action steps and resources. It adds the post to WordPress and pulls in a feature image. It writes the episode overview, the Instagram post, YouTube timestamps, the SEO description, and keywords. Everything lands in a Notion doc with the post URL, guest name, and a website. From there, I pick the title, Claude adds it to the WordPress post, and publishes it. Then Claude drops the URL back into the Notion document for later. Now, this is the part that actually matters. I'm not copying, pasting any of this. I'm not switching between tabs. Claude moves through all of it while I'm doing something else. For the audio, I edit inside Descript. I record the episode overview using the teleprompter. It has eye tracking, so it doesn't look like I'm reading a script, kind of like now. Descript removes filler words. It tightens gaps, adds captions, and improves the sound. If you want a full Descript tutorial, drop a comment below. Once I'm done editing, I bring the audio into a free tool called Audacity. I have a template with my intro, a slot for an ad, and the outro. After adding in the interview, I just export the MP3, and the MP3 goes into my hosting service. I use Libsyn, and Libsyn is what distributes it to all of the platforms. The last step, Descript uploads directly to YouTube. I just create the thumbnail, and I'm done. If I were to do all of this myself, it would probably take me at least 5 to 6 hours. With Claude, it only takes me about an hour and a half. And that brings us to phase 3, which is post-production. For me, everything is scheduled to be published on Thursdays, and I don't touch anything. The scheduled tasks run automatically. Claude creates the carousels. It uploads the Libsyn embed player to WordPress. It sends the guest a templated email with all of their links. This makes it super easy for them to promote the episode. That's what helps grow the show. Claude also drafts the newsletter and go high level with a link to the episode. My signature at the bottom has links to all of my offers, my coaching, all that stuff. This is actually how I monetize the podcast. I did a whole episode, the 5 best ways to monetize a podcast. I'll leave a link in the description. The only thing I do manually is schedule the newsletter to go out on Monday mornings. It takes about 2 minutes. I also spend about 30 minutes every week creating a month's worth of social media clips using Opus Clips. I know that's a lot, so let me just give you a little recap. Cloud Cowork actually built 4 custom skills and has 3 scheduled tasks that run every single week without me. That saves me at least 4 to 5 hours on content creation, editing, publishing, and distribution. When you're not spending time editing, you have more time to actually make money. And here's a breakdown of the total time it takes me to put out a full episode every week. It's 15 minutes for the pre-interview chat. It's 1 hour for the actual interview, maybe an hour and a half for production on Mondays, and about 30 minutes to do the Opus clips. That's 3 to 3.5 hours a week for a complete podcast episode, a blog post, social content, and a newsletter on a $20 subscription. I'm saving $480 a month. The full system is in the Notion guide. I'll leave a link in the description. It's free. But hold on, because my next video covers how I automated my entire client onboarding workflow with Claude. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification so you know when it comes out. That one saves me even more time, and you're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video.